Good evening. Welcome in. Today is Thursday, right, Curtis?
It's Thursday.
Okay. Welcome into Knowledge is Power. Tonight's Thursday night. I'm Richard Finley. I'm your host. Well, hope everybody in town for the Magic City Classic was able to get your credit card cleared and got out of town safely. We wish to thank you all for all of the dollars that you deposited in the local economy. And we encourage you to come back next year. We'll be bigger and better. And it's just, it's probably one of the 200 or 300 wonders of the world, the Magic City Classic. It's, and I know it's not the only game where it occurs, but it just always amazes me at the thousands of people who show up at Legion Field simply for the purpose of walking around Legion Field. So I hope they got a great deal of exercise. All you ladies in those 7 and 8-inch heels, I hope your feet heal and that you're able to go to work the day after. But it was a tremendous event, and so we want to thank everybody who participated in the Magic City Classic for coming in. We want to congratulate the Alabama State Hornets on their victory. And looking forward, wish Alabama A&M well in their battle with Auburn University. That should be historic. And in more ways than one, possibly. But anyway, welcome into Knowledge is Power. Always know that Knowledge is Power is brought to you by the Committee to Develop Birmingham. Committee meets on the third Saturday of every month from 9 until 11 at the 5 Points West Library, located here in beautiful downtown 5 Points West. Now that all of the celebrants of the 71st Magic City Classic hopefully have arrived home safely. I hope all your credit cards cleared and you've got everything under control. But coming up this week, and with absolutely no disrespect for Alabama A&M and Alabama State, but coming up this weekend is a real football game. We have a clash of the Titans out in Fairfield. Coming in undefeated, the Tuskegee Golden Tigers will run into the Miles College Golden Bears. It will be a battle of epic proportion. It will be something that you will tell your grandchildren about the day that you were out on the hill and you saw the Miles College Golden Bears run up and run down the Tuskegee Golden Tigers. So for Bob Dickerson and all my other Tuskegee friends, I have to include in that, and my wife. We're a divided household this weekend. She's a Golden Tiger and I'm a Golden Bear. It's going to be an exciting weekend. So we encourage all of you looking for some good, clean family entertainment. Go out to Fairfield and participate in, what easily, never mind Alabama LSU. Miles Tuskegee is the game of the year, and I think that you will find it most enjoyable. Get out and watch the Miles College Purple Marching Machine, and it's just one of those weekends where, if you are a fan of college football at all, that you will find your way out to Fairfield, and let's give the economy in Fairfield a tremendous boost. We all know that Fairfield needs the money, so go out to Fairfield early, spend plenty of money, get your favorite spot in the bleachers or on the hill, and let's get ready to watch a tremendous, tremendous clash of the SIAC. The winner of this game will be the champion of the SIAC, and we have absolutely no doubt that that will be the Miles College Golden Bears. So we encourage all of you to get out to that game. Now, some of the real things, well, Miles Tuskegee is very real, but some of the things that are constantly going on in Jefferson County that are of concern to our listeners. We will talk about the county commissioner's proposed rate increase on the sewer system. We will talk about the continuing ongoing Cooper Green protests. We'll get our call in around 6:30, Curtis, from Dr. Horace Huntley. But as we get into the program, I'd like to pause, because we always like to take time to recognize and appreciate our listening audience. We know that you have multiple choices for your listening pleasure and your entertainment on a Thursday evening, and I just want you to know how much we sincerely appreciate you taking the time to tune in and listen to Knowledge is Power. It means so much to us when we're out in the community and we hear from individuals who come up and say, I listen to Knowledge is Power, and I especially listen to Knowledge is Power on Thursday nights. That does your host an awful lot of good, I want you to know. So keep saying that, because it really boosts my spirits and helps me to get up for the next week to come here and be with you. And for all of our regular listeners who are in traffic on your way home, we always like to encourage you to be safe. Keep your hands on the wheel, your eyes on the road. Put the cell phone down. You can turn the radio up. We want you to arrive home safely, to those who are eagerly anticipating your arrival. Those of you who are already home, dinner is ready, you're sitting at the table. We encourage you to make Knowledge is Power a family affair. Invite the young people in so that they might have an opportunity to listen, if not participate in what we like to call grown folks conversation, because we try to address those issues of the day, those issues that concern you and your livelihood, those things that we hope will make this Valley of Jones, this county of Jefferson, this city of Birmingham a better place for us all to live. We've had a number of things happening all during the time that we were, celebrating and enjoying the Magic City Classic. And I truly hope that that all of Jefferson County recognizes that the Magic City Classic brings in something north of $30 million to the local economy. That's just not Birmingham. They fill up hotels in Hoover, in Trussville, in Fultondale, Gardendale, all over. And I think it's about time that those communities recognize the contribution of the Magic City Classic and start doing what they can to contribute toward the success of the Magic City Classic. We know that Alabama abandoned us after all we had done for the University of Alabama here in Birmingham. They abandoned us and went to Tuscaloosa. Well, we moaned for a moment, but we're over that now, because we do have the Magic City Classic, and we have the tremendous upward potential of not only SIAC football, not only SWAC football, but we also have the upward potential of the University of Alabama, Birmingham. Mr. Garrick McGee over there is obviously struggling in his first year, but I think the young man has tremendous potential, and he's going to make a positive contribution to the athletic community and the pursuits here in Birmingham. So the future for athletic events in football, with the crossplex and all the other things that are going on here, are certainly positive, and we have a tremendous uptick here in Jefferson County. We've also had to join us in the studio an old friend that we've been missing for several months now. You didn't get married while you were gone, did you?
Still working on it.
Still working on it? Okay.
Selma.
All right, Selma. Selma, Lord Selma. We've got Brother Michael Hameen in the studio visiting with us today.
Happy to be here. Greetings to Birmingham. Remember, it's hard by the yard, but it's a cinch by the inch.
The great philosopher Shelley Stewart.
All right.
All right. Well, I want to remind you that as we speak out in the Woodlawn area in East Birmingham, the foot soldiers who are out defending Cooper Green Mercy Hospital are gathering. And I don't know if you had an opportunity to be downtown at 12 o'clock today, but the number of protesters are growing each week. We want to thank the Reverend Al Sharpton for bringing national attention. We want to thank Tom Joyner and all of the national broadcasters for making the world aware of our fight for health care with dignity here in Jefferson County. But it was a tremendous outpouring from the people here in Birmingham. The numbers are beginning to grow, and we continue to encourage each and every one of you to exercise your civic responsibility. I know you probably doing well. You got a good job. You got good shunts, and you ain't worried about it. But somebody in your family, you know your mama's brother's children not doing as well as you're doing, and you got some nieces and nephews out there who could use a little help. So we cannot snatch this net from under them, because if they should become ill, you can't afford to pay for them. You can't afford to take care of them. So we've got to have this safety net. At the same time, we encourage each and every one of you to find gainful employment, to find a way to secure for your future and for your health, to not be dependent upon government. Because there's one thing that you see in this whole process, is that if you are a citizen under a government that you do not control, then it is just that you don't control your future. These people could meet in the country club and decide that they want to do something else with your tax dollars. They might want to fix a bridge over the golf course in their neighborhood and decide that they need your health care money. And since they have the numbers, you can't do anything about it. So you want to make sure, first of all, that you're not dependent upon the government. We need to find a way to keep our dollars in our community and in our pockets so that we can exercise some independence from these people who would try to exploit us on every turn. And recognize that you are truly being exploited. You are being made to appear to be those who are freeloading on the government, when in fact it is the exploiters who are freeloading on the government. You have to know that Jefferson County is over 100 years old. The average annual collection of revenue from the public has been somewhere around $600-700 million. And you have never gotten a measurable amount of that money returned to your community. So you have been subsidizing Mountain Brook. You have been subsidizing Vestavia Hills. You have been subsidizing Hoover, Trustville, Fultondale, Gardendale. All these little hamlets have been sucking blood out of Birmingham and out of the county by making the declaratory statement that all public money is theirs. Is their county, is their city, is their country. So they take all the public money and then want to make you appear to be some sort of vandal because you need subsistence of a Mercy hospital. to declare that that's a burden on the county to provide for a Mercy hospital. So you best wake up and get engaged and get involved and recognize the game that is being played on you with your public money. And we've got an election coming up, and I said to Curtis I wasn't going to get into this voting thing because that's y'all personal business, but you need to start recognizing that you can make this government work for you. Those folk who declare that it's county, it's their county and it's their country, that's what they're doing. They're making it work for them. They make sure that all that public money is spent with them. So you demand that when you vote in these local elections, that these individuals understand that you require that your government work for you. All of the money that they spend on goods and services should not be spent exclusively with white folks. You make up over 50% of the population of this county. You should demand that all public monies be split 50-50 so that you can have an opportunity to invest in your community. You can invest in better schools. You can invest in your children and their health. You can provide for your family members jobs and opportunity for employment. You can create businesses within your community utilizing the free enterprise system and public dollars. So, make yourself aware. Understand that you suffer, that you are victimized because of a lack of knowledge. And knowledge is power when you use that knowledge. So when you see our young people wholesale dropping out of school, wholesale rejecting education, then your alarm button should go off. And if it's not your children directly, maybe it's your brother's children or your cousin's children, then you need to call a family meeting, do what they call an intervention, and get these knuckleheads to understand that ain't nothing they can do in this world without being able to read and write and do a little arithmetic. Once they can get the fundamentals down, they can read and study, learn anything they want to learn. And we recognize that this part of this process has been working to miseducate and misdirect Negroes to devalue education in the Negro community, but we understand that that's a trick. All of us know that that's a trick. So we have to sit down as a family and make sure that our young folk don't fall for that same trick, because if you don't know your history, then you're doomed to repeat it. And it's time out for them running that trick. They ran that trick on your granddaddy. So no longer let them run that trick on your children. We know better, so let's do better. Brother Michael.
Night John, DVD, excellent. And the little girl said, I done stole me some letters. You better steal you some letters and some numbers if you know what I know. Because if it turns midnight in America on the 6th of November, you better hurry up.
Yeah, well, I was just telling Curtis that was plan B. I know all y'all hoping and all y'all praying.
Pray hard.
Yeah, but
do better.
And my thing to you, and I'm gonna get off of this because I know I'm gonna tick some of y'all off. But I told y'all time and time again, when you get in there the first time, get all that you can get. Don't be waiting on, well, I'm going to let them figure out how it works. I'm going to let them figure out where the bathroom is. I'm going to give them time to do. No. You demand when they walk in the door, they turn the table over, they pick the papers up, and they make the system work for you. If you going to sit back and wait for the second term, you might have a rude awakening on the 7th. And what have you done over the last 4 years other than wait? And don't think that... well, I'm going to get off of that because I know I'm going to tick somebody off.
Miss Dorothy Love Coates say you can't miss a friend you ain't never had.
Well, let's go ahead. I don't want to start preaching this evening. We're coming up on the bottom of the hour. We're going to take a quick break because we've got a report coming in from Dr. Horace Huntley out at the town hall meeting with the committee to save Cooper Green Mercy Hospital. And I want to say before we go to that break, to all of you Negroes out there who finished somebody's law school, all of you Negroes out there who have a CPA, all of you Negroes out there who have a master's degree, all of you Negroes out there who finished anybody's college, if you are not involved in the effort to save Cooper Green Mercy Hospital, then shame on you.
You said one of them Negroes kind of fast. It kind of frightened me.
Yeah, well, them Negroes know who I'm talking about out there, who sitting up being quiet thinking if they hold their breath, that won't nobody see them. But you have an obligation, you have a responsibility to your family, to your extended family, to make sure that this Mercy Hospital survives. And you need to understand that the primary reason for the attack on the Mercy Hospital is that it is being run by competent black executives who might, and I ain't saying that they do it all the time, but they might decide to do business with black companies. When you've got $100 million operation going, you can support and sustain any number of local businesses in the community. And if half of those businesses are black, we know that those businesses are employing other black people, and we know that those families then are free to approach middle class comfortably. So there's a lot more involved in this. And don't you sit around and read the Birmingham News or listening to ABC and CBS and NBC and assume just because it came out of their mouth that it's the truth. Get up, go to the meeting, see what's being said. Visit the hospital yourself and understand the number of diabetes patients, the number of cancer patients, the number of heart patients, the number of folk with arthritis and rheumatism, all these folk who are being provided a safety net. And if you can sit back just because you finished college and you got a good job, I'm telling you that the policy will change, and you wake up and they've gone in a new direction and they didn't include you in the process. And now your shot's gone and you need the Mercy Hospital.
Karma can be frightening sometimes.
It can be frightening. All right, we're going to take the break. Curtis, we come back, we're going to tune in to Dr. Huntley and get a report on the meeting out in Woodlawn about the efforts to save Cooper Green Mercy Hospital. You're listening to Knowledge is Power. We'll be back.
They call, send letters, email, and visit your home.
You have a mission. It's no collision. Hold the phone. Don't text. You're angling to be next. Brothers and sisters, you won't see it coming. You're off the road. Your life explodes. It's not worth it. Don't do it. You only think there's nothing to it. Put it down, hang up, pay attention to highway action. Behind the wheel, there is no such thing as a small distraction. Join the conversation at decidetodrive.org, a public service message from the American Academy of Orthopedics.
I'm doing great. How are you all doing today?
It must have been a lot of activity out there. We've missed you twice this evening.
Yeah, it's a spirited meeting tonight. The movement is growing. It's escalating. People are really excited. We have standing room only crowd. And that is really just showing you that this is really not just a one-time issue. This is a movement that is developing. You know, after Reverend Sharper was here last week, and we filled 16th Street Baptist Church, you notice all of the green shirts, St. Cooper green shirts, it was like a sea of green. And he made a passionate thought, passionate speech about what has happened with Cooper Green. But what we find is that it is not just happening here in Birmingham. There are hospitals. He was in Memphis before he came to Birmingham, and he left here and went to Florida. The same thing happened in a number of cities around the country, and he made the statement that Birmingham is really the epicenter of the movement. And just as Dr. Walker said back in 1962 when he came to Birmingham with Dr. King after he had been invited by Reverend Shuttlesworth, he said, as Birmingham goes, so goes the rest of the South.
All right.
What is being said right now, he is saying the very same thing about Birmingham now. We've was very successful with the selective buying campaign last Tuesday. Now what we're doing, we're calling for people simply not to buy on Tuesday. Not to buy on Tuesdays. We're going to expand that because it was quite a success. There were a survey taken, and there were several thousand people who participated in the not buying on Tuesday. So we want to expand that. So we put that out to your radio audience, and we're hopeful that they will talk with other people about it as well. So all this month, on Tuesdays, we're simply not going to spend any money.
That should be simple enough for all of those folk who are afraid to show their face, all those folk who can't get out and attend the meeting. All you have to do is save your money every Tuesday of the month. Do not spend one dime every Tuesday of the month. You'll probably be better off spiritually as well as financially.
Absolutely. And I mean, it is growing. People are excited. We're still having the press conference at Cooper Green at 9 o'clock on Thursday morning, and at noon there are pickets downtown on the corner of 5th Avenue and 20th Street North. And we're walking with signs, and it's rather interesting that you don't get any of this on TV. It just seems to be that there is a sort of a conspiracy against people who are fighting and struggling for poor people in this county. But we know that we're sitting on a very strong message, and the word is getting around. So I want to thank you for having us on every Thursday night just to give you an update, because this is very serious and very, very important.
Well, thank you, Doc, and we appreciate all you do. Let all the people out at the rally know that we here at Knowledge is Power support all of their actions and activities, and anything that we can do, don't hesitate to call on us.
We'll do it. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you, Doc. Take care. And again, before we go back to the phone lines, I just want to encourage all of our listeners. You just don't know how important this is. This has nothing to do with any attempt on the 3 commissioners who voted to close inpatient care to provide better. If you believe these folk are interested in providing better health care for you, then I got a bridge down in Dolomite I want to sell you. But it's just imperative. People, it's just time out for being ignorant. It's time out for being lazy. It's time out for just accepting anything people throw at you. You know that but for the grace of God, you could be at the door of that Mercy Hospital tonight. And for you to sit back and choose not to engage, not to support, is simply a travesty. I don't know how you rest. I don't know how you sleep with yourself, knowing that if that hospital shuts down, you find yourself on Friday night trying to get into Brookwood or trying to get into UAB. Now, they announced that they were working on an agreement with UAB. Well, hell, they've always worked on an agreement with UAB. Most of the doctors who practice at UAB practice at Cooper Green. But they know that the function and the mission of Cooper Green is much broader and much deeper than any of the services that the college hospital at UAB can provide for our community. You ask any honest doctor, and they will tell you that we need that Mercy Hospital. The next time, if you have a doctor at one of the private facilities, when you go in and check in, you read the sign that they're showing prominently that says that if you show up at the door in need, they will treat you and stabilize you, and then they will transport you. And if Cooper Green is not there, where they're going to transport you other than home, I don't know. But this is a major issue. It is of major concern. It is an emergency in this community. And we cannot allow wrong-headed, prejudiced, greedy individuals to dictate the health care for those in this community. We've got another caller, Curtis. Caller, welcome to Knowledge is Power.
I have two questions about banks. Do you think it'll be help if we get more black-owned banks here in Birmingham? Because then maybe a lot of black people wouldn't be taken advantage of if we had like at least two or three black-owned banks, and then the city can put some of that money in the black-owned banks too. Not put all the money in one bank. Mix it up. Give the black banks some of that money too. Let them hold some of that money, where certain banks been holding all that money for years and years, and that helps them to take advantage of us. Because I don't know why is it so hard for us to get banks. I hear people talk about not getting our fair share of city contracts and all that. We don't have our fair share of banks. I think that would help if we can get at least two or three black banks here in the city, and then if they don't put money, the city don't put money, let us hold the money, then we put a discrimination suit on them. But we can't put no discrimination suit on them because we ain't got no banks to file no discrimination suit about. How do we go about getting black banks? Why is it so hard for us black people to get black banks? That's all I want to ask.
Well, I want to have a show one night about that. It is not any more difficult for black folks to have a bank than it is for white folks to have a bank. You simply have to put the capital together, and we certainly have the capital. But one thing that we do have is that several of our religious organizations have credit unions. And these credit unions can be aggressive about advertising and marketing and going after that title loan business and that easy money business. And they can put money out there at half the rates that these people charge and make money and not do as much damage to our community as they're doing, and even keep the money in our community to invest in legitimate businesses that our people want to start. We need to have a conversation, and I'm going to do it hopefully before the end of the year, about how we develop an economic strategy for our community. Certainly you're concerned about the black bank and black businesses and black unemployment and the other socioeconomic ills that we suffer are things that we need to have a conversation about. And the things that we hope to do on this program is to have what I like to call grown folks conversation about the issues afflicting our community. And let's talk about common sense solutions and ways to galvanize our community so that we might save our community ourselves. All right, caller, welcome to Knowledge is Power. Caller, welcome in.
Hey, happy Thursday.
And happy Thursday to you.
Charles Allen here at Bessemer. Hello, Selma Man, Michael, Bean, along with Richard Finley.
Yes, sir. Michael had to leave, but go ahead. I'm sure he's listening.
Well, if he was down there, my son was the founder and was in the newspaper, the Selma Times Journal. He got a street named after a civil rights attorney by the name of J.L. Chestnut. And J.L. Chestnut's son was at one time with the Bell administration here in Birmingham, J.L. Chestnut Jr. And you mentioned something, I heard you say something about Selma Lord Selma. That was a book written by Birmingham News, Frank Sikora, and the two girls that were on the lap of Dr. King there. One was my son's cousin, Bruce Lorenzo Holmes, the one who founded the name of the street there, J.L. Chestnut, and was in that book. And she grew up to be, Rachel West grew up to be a magistrated position which I created back in 1976. All that was in Selma, Lawrence, Selma. Hey, Charles Allen here. Best.
All right, caller, welcome to Knowledge is Power.
Rico, I have a question. Another question I'd like to ask you. I was attending to ask first time. Mr. Finley, you talked about the situation, with the schools and the money that was spent on the physical schools, the buildings and so forth.
Yes.
And in the I would say the dire straits that a lot of young people, the conditions that they, like homelessness at home and no place to live and their behavior. Mr. Finley, there's something I don't think that we've been able to look as a people very closely at, and it's a national discussion now, and you hear it all the time. Do you think contributing why we have this problem in the city is that it's really embarrassing, but there's something, it's similar to the overall situation in the nation. There is a class structure within the black community, and there always has been. There always been a group of people who it appears that one group of people just didn't care about, even among us. I mean, it's sad. When I heard Dr. Hunting was talking about the situation in other cities as far as hospitals relating to black people, to me that's a class issue. And over the years I've been saying this is, well, to be nice, it's class warfare, but I call it I call it undeclared war on the black community. But there are those in our community who escape this type of terror because they have insurance. They seem to be concerned, but you take the black middle class and the upper black middle class, they're being terrorized too, but it's a different type of terror as opposed to, like, I call it low intensity warfare on black people. But do you think this is a violation of our human rights? That's another question.
Yeah, for the short answer.
So, we use this as an alibi to go all over the world and rearrange other people's society. But I've been talking about this for over 20 years, how our human rights are violated in this country. And then you only hear silence.
Well, Smithfield, as I often do, agree with what you're saying. I just think that the responsibility rests with us. Yes, it is a violation of our human rights. Yes, we are being put upon. Yes, we are being tricked. Yes, we are being robbed. Yes, we are being brutalized. Yes, we are being criminalized. All of these things are happening to us, but all of these things happen because we allow them to happen. Now, how can we...
I agree with that too.
How can we ourselves arrest and get control of our community so that we can awaken our people to their responsibilities as adult members of our community? I was reading a few weeks ago, W.A. Casey from the Knights of Pythias brought me a book, a recording of the history of the Pythians, and one of the things that I was reading was some minutes of meetings that they held back in the late 1800s, and I was so impressed with the order and the structure of the meeting and the business-like approach that these newly freed slaves had, and conducted themselves as men of honor and responsibility who were putting together a society to look out for each other.
Fascinating, wasn't it?
It was extremely fascinating. And now here we are 100 years later with these so-called better educated Negroes who don't have half the sense that these newly freed slaves had.
And it's the truth.
It is.
It's sad, but it's the truth.
It's the truth. And so, we try with this radio program and with your participation to constantly talk to these Negroes. And I've had some friends say, if you think you're going to talk sense into them, you're crazy. But that's the only tool that we have right now, is we have to try to get these Negroes to understand that they're not the wards of the white community. They're not the children of the white community, that they should be independent, responsible, mature, grown adults who take responsibility for themselves, their families, and their communities. But,
as opposed to, I've talked about this, as opposed to engage, well, I would say paternalism. That's what's being practiced.
yeah.
And then being treated like worse than a stepchild. But Mr. Finley.
Okay, Smithfield, we got one more caller. We're running out of time. But, I always appreciate you. But give me a call back next week.
Thank you, my man.
All right. Caller, welcome to Knowledge is Power.
Yes, I'm calling from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yes, sir. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. How are you?
All right.
Too late to get on?
Well, you got a full minute, brother-in-law.
That's all I need.
All right, tell it.
Go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead. You got it.
This is Don Washington calling from Cincinnati. How's everybody in Birmingham tonight?
All right, we're doing fine. I know. Tell Smithfield hello. He's always looking to hear from you.
Was that Willie Bussey?
Yeah.
Bussey, I'll talk to you later. But Richard, I just got on the program a minute ago. You were talking about Cooper Green, and I wanted to show my support for that hospital's remaining open. It's such a critical place for people who are uninsured and hope to get insured when the Affordable Care Act gets into full swing beginning in 2014 with the insurance exchanges that are opened up in the one in Alabama as well. But just real quick, I just had a very heated conversation with a state representative, Bill Sykes, in Ohio today about the fact that Ohio has decided not to support the Affordable Care Act, as well as not to open up the insurance exchanges that's required by law in 2014, as well as to try to repeal this if the election goes the way that they hope it to go. And I think that would be a tragedy in the fact that it is a piece of legislation that's full of prevention. And what really upset the senator today was the fact that my question to him was that he thought it was better to pay more to treat people than to help them in prevention, which is a chock full of stuff that's in the bill that a lot of people don't know anything about. But anyway, I come in on the tail end of the conversation, and I'll try to call in next week, though.
Okay, we have a similar bill on the ballot next Tuesday in Alabama, a constitutional amendment to opt out of the Affordable Care Act. So call in next week, and we'll have an extended conversation about the results of that.
I surely will.
All right, take care, man.
All right.
All right, be safe. Say hello to everybody. All right. Well, proves again that knowledge is power. It's broadcasting on the World Wide Web. We've got listeners all over the country. Yeah, I would say all over the world, tuning in to the day-to-day trials in the city of Birmingham, the county of Jefferson, and the Valley of Jones. My people, understand that the world is focused on us and what we do. They will talk about how lazy, how foolish, how ignorant we are, or they will talk about how brave, how triumphant, how brilliant we are. And that all depends upon your individual actions. We've got a number of things in front of us, and all of them require your immediate attention. It was said some number of years ago that if you are to enjoy any modicum of freedom, then you have to be constantly vigilant, because there's always somebody trying to enslave your mind, trying to capture your treasure, trying to restrict your freedom. It shouldn't be that way, but that's the way it is. So that requires of you the discipline and the vigilance of adult individuals. You got to stop acting like children. You've got to stop assuming that it is somebody else's responsibility. It cannot happen. It will not happen unless you allow it. So, don't call up here complaining, telling me about what white folk doing when you're doing nothing. Because they cannot do anything to you or against you unless you allow it. So stand up wherever you are tonight. Declare to yourself, go in the closet, get on your knees and declare to your God that you are a man, that you are a woman, that you are intelligent, that you are responsible, and that you will honor the gifts given to you, not by your government, but by your God. Honor that. Stand up for that. Show your children what true men and women do in a civil society. Stand up. Stand out. Get involved. Make a difference. It's all up to you, Birmingham. You've been listening to Knowledge is Power. Always know that Knowledge is Power is brought to you by the Committee to Develop Birmingham. Tonight's Thursday night. I'm Richard Finley. I'm your host. I'm in with the great Curtis Bell. We'll see you in 7.